Welcome our viewers to the 5th episode of the Property Investors Network, a show where we discuss and learn about investing in property in Africa in about 10 minutes. It is said that you do not need money to invest in property. This statement can be true. So as we discuss in the 12 ways of making money, you're going to find out that some of the methods that I'm going to talk about don't necessarily need money. You don't need your money, but you use other people's money. You also find that some methods you don't need time because you use other people's time. Some of the methods you don't need to have any skill at all because you're going to use other people's skills. Thank you so much for watching our shows. I can see that there's been a dramatic increase in the number of people who are viewing these shows and learning about investing in property. Thank you so much for watching. And I also, if you are enjoying this show, I want to say please subscribe to the show because I'll be updating the episode so you get an update once there's a show that is uploaded. So thank you so much for watching. I've been receiving feedback. One person called from the UK wanting to know more, and there are several people who contacted me around Africa who are interested in this show. So thank you so much for watching. Today we are continuing with our topic, 12 ways to make money in property. This is the second part. Just to recap, last time I discussed 4 ways one can make money in property. The first one is rent to let. The second one is rent to rent. The third one is by renovation. We also call it flipping. And the fourth way is by property development. Now, property development, one of the episodes we're going to discuss and go into detail into it because it is about developing the whole property from beginning up to the end. So we'll talk about it in the future. So today we're going to continue with the next 4 ways of making money in property. If you look clearly, you'll find that the first 4 methods that I mentioned previously, they are technical methods. They involve the nitty-gritties, the practical, the technical approach to making money in property. In other words, you run the house, you do stuff to eat, so that you make money out of it. You find that the next 4 set of ways, they're to do with structuring, how you structure the deal, how you structure the vehicle. And then on the third part 3 of making money, I'm going to also discuss of another 4 ways, and you find that these 4 ways, they're to do with services around property. So there are many ways of making property. These 12 ways are not the only ways. There are so many ways of making money out of property. I can't even finish them all, but I'm going to give you the what I can say, the main ways on how you can make property in property. Now, let's go back to today's episode. Number 5, investor consortia, or you can call them consortium. So, investor consortium, this is when members combine their funds in order to purchase investments in property. In other words, as an individual, you can't afford to invest, so you find other people. You bring your money together as a consortium and then you invest and achieve more. For example, it can be a block of flats that you're targeting. As an individual, perhaps you cannot even buy a unit in the flat. But now, if you combine your funds, you find that you can buy the whole building for yourself and then you run that building and make money out of it. There are many ways how you can invest your funds as a consortia. It can be buy to let, the example I've given of a flat. It can be a venture capital. It can be a property development. So it depends what's your strategy as a consortia where you want to invest your funds. Your strategy can be short term, it can be medium term, it can be long term. It depends how as your consortia you have agreed to invest your funds. Also on consortia, research is very important. There are a number of research which you need to do as an individual. Number one, you need to research on the type of structure which you use to do investment as a group. What structure are you using? What is the best structure for you? Is it a company? Is it a Stockville or cooperative? What structure? What is that? We call them the SPV that you're going to use to invest. So research around it and find the best for you. The other area you need to invest to research is the members who are there. Who are these people who you are getting together with? Because their risks are going to affect you in a positive way or a negative way. So make sure you know who are the partners, who are the members, and especially who are the leaders of this consortium, because these are the people who are going to make day-to-day decision for your investment. And then the other area you need to investigate is also the strategy. What strategy have they proposed? Is it good for you as an individual? And then you can then put your money. And then finally, research on the risks and returns that are involved in this particular strategy, and then be comfortable with it before you invest in the consortium. The sixth method of making money in property is by property stocks. When I say property stocks, I'm talking about buying shares in property related companies that are listed on the stock exchange. Now, when I talk about shares, I'm also talking about buying bonds and any related products, that are financial products related to property investment. For example, these companies might be involved directly in property development or rental. It can be a construction company that is building property. It can be a property investment company that is got that are investing in properties and property projects, etc., etc. So there's many ways these property or companies that are listed operate and get their revenues. And then also under property stock, remember that banks do not give loans for people to invest on the stock exchange. So that affects the way you raise funds. You've got to raise funds by other means. You cannot go to bank and say, I want to buy the stocks. Can you give me some money? They normally don't do that. And also, this method, the advantage about property stock is that it's effortless. Just buy the stock and you wait. You don't need to run the company. You don't need to do any effort around it. So it's effortless. And also in terms of the strategy, it can be short-term investment, can be a medium-term investment, or a long-term investment, depending on your strategy. So make sure you understand what stock you are buying the company, so that you can you plan on how you want to do the investment. Also research around the stock, the company, like I mentioned, so that you make a good decision. Now, number seventh way of making money out of property. The seventh and eighth ways, I'm going to combine those two together because they are very much related, and most often they work hand in hand together. This is the private equity and venture capital. These two, they work hand in hand. Okay, first I'll define what is private equity. Private equity, it's an equity's ownership or shares. So it's private shares in a company that is not listed on the stock exchange. So you own shares in a company that is not on a stock exchange, but it's a property company that is operating. So most of these companies, they are startup companies, companies that have been started that are growing. Okay, I'm also going to explain how the venture capital comes into this. Right, this works mostly for high yield projects with there is minimum effort and a high return. So the risk is also high. So what happens? You approach a venture capital company to invest. Our viewers, I would like to apologize at this moment. It's raining outside and there can be some interference in terms of our sound. Please accept my apology. We are just about to finish the episode, so I'll just continue with the episode. Venture capital. These are venture capital investors. They come and invest in your property development project for equity. In other words, they want to own a share of your project by providing finance for you. This can be, there also can be a loan portion to this investment, and this investment can be short-term, medium-term, or long-term investment. Also, proper due diligence and research is required from your side. Right? To give a good example of how this private equity and venture capital work, I'm going to give you an example. You've got a project that you have, a development project that you have. You've got the idea, you've got all the things on paper, but now you don't have funds for it. Or you've got just a little fund, a little bit of funding for this project. You find a venture capital or someone who can give you seed fund into your project. And sometimes this seed fund can be just to prepare the project, perhaps to buy the land and prepare the designs, the drawings. And then once this is ready, you go and look for a loan to top up to do the construction of the development. But now when you go to the bank or this institution, they may say, no, we only give you 80% of the funds that you require. Because remember, this institution they are talking about, they are looking at the risks that are involved from their side. So they make sure that they are comfortable. They'll give you 80%. So now you need another 20%. Now you approach a venture capital company that's going to invest. And this investor are going to say, no, on your project, we need equity. Who owns how much of the project? So you need to negotiate with these investors or venture capitalists who are coming into your project. You negotiate so that you get a good share and they also get a fair share for their investment. And then you implement and build the development. Once it is completed, you can get rentals from your property. And sometimes the venture capital investor might even say no, they want to move out of the development, so they want to buy, they want to move out, so they look for a buyer to buy the whole property. Or the venture capital company can say, no, we want to buy you out of the project, and then they buy your share of the development. So it depends how you structure, how you negotiate, but from this there is a chance, perhaps a chance for someone to do this project without even putting his funds, depending on how you structure the whole deal. So deal structuring is very, very important. So these are the 4 ways, additional ways that one can make money in property. Now, today we will end here for the sake of our time, and we will continue on the next episode as we discuss ways of making money in property. Just before we just turn off, remember to subscribe to the channel so that you get notifications once I upload an episode. Please don't forget to like these episodes. Leave your comments if you want to leave your comments. Thank you so much for watching. And also, just to say something before I leave, this stuff that we are discussing, the stuff that we are talking about in these episodes, these are the things that people are paying money to colleges and universities to learn. So this is proper information that is applicable worldwide. It's not a get rich scheme, but it's for you to learn to earn money, make money in a sustainable way in property. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time. Thank you.